Once upon a time, in a verdant valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a bustling village known as Kijiji Cha Amani. Life in the village was serene and peaceful. The people would gather in the evenings to tell stories around the fire, and the sounds of laughter would ring out until the stars twinkled above. In this village lived a farmer named Biko, renowned for his warmth and gentle spirit. Every morning, he would tend to his fields, helping them flourish with abundant crops of maize, millet, and sweet potatoes. Biko was liked by all the villagers, for he always had a kind word and a smile to share. But even with the joy of his bountiful harvests and camaraderie of his neighbors, he felt a void deep within his heart. Biko longed for a companion to share his life with, a wife to walk by his side through the ups and downs of life. One day, as he sat by the village well, a graceful woman with eyes as dark as onyx approached. Her name was Kumi, and she had just arrived from a neighboring village. She had a beauty like no other, and Biko was immediately captivated by her. He approached her with a smile, offering his assistance in fetching water. Kumi looked at Biko, and for a moment, her cold eyes warmed as she smiled back. She accepted his offer, and that was the start of their courtship. Biko was gentle and generous, and Kumi seemed to reciprocate his affections. Within a few months, they were married in a celebration that filled the entire village with joy. After the wedding festivities had died down, Biko and Kumi settled into their life together. Biko continued to tend his fields while Kumi managed their home. However, it did not take long before whispers of discontent began to spread through the village. The villagers had noticed something troubling about Kumi. She was distant and cold, often avoiding conversations and gatherings, instead isolating herself in their home. She had rarely acknowledged her neighbors, and even Biko noticed that her warm smiles had turned to icy stares. Despite this, Biko remained optimistic and hopeful, believing that with time, Kumi would open up and grow to love the village as much as he did. He tried to include her in his daily activities, inviting her to join him in the fields or to visit the market together. But each time, Kumi declined, stating she preferred solitude. As months passed, Kumi became more withdrawn, and Biko found himself struggling to connect with her. She would often criticize his efforts in the fields, telling him that he was wasting his time and energy. She would dismiss his attempts to make her laugh, and even his gestures of affection were met with indifference. One evening, after Biko had returned from the market, he found Kumi packing her belongings into a woven basket. Confused and alarmed, he asked her what she was doing. "I have no love for this place, Biko," she replied coldly. "I only married you because I wanted to leave my village and seek a better life. But now I realize that I cannot find happiness here. I am leaving, and I do not wish for you to follow me." Biko stood frozen, unable to comprehend the words coming out of her mouth. His heart ached as he watched Kumi walk out the door without a single backward glance. In the days following Kumi's departure, Biko's once bright spirit seemed to dim. He could hardly focus on tending his fields, and the joy he once found in the simple pleasures of life was gone. The villagers, who had once praised his kind heart, now grew concerned of him. One day, an elder named Mama Moyo approached Biko as he sat by the riverbank, staring aimlessly into the water. "Biko, my child," she said softly, "you have lost your way. Your heart is burdened and you must find healing." "But Mama Moyo," Biko replied, his voice heavy with sorrow, "I cannot understand how Kumi could have left me so heartlessly. How can I find peace when my heart is shattered?" Mama Moyo sat beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "There is no medicine to mend a broken heart quickly, Biko. But you must remember that the river flows on and the sun rises anew each morning. You have much love to give and the village still needs you." Biko listened quietly to her words. With a deep breath, he realized that his life had meaning beyond the pain he felt. He stood up and thanked Mama Moyo before heading home. From that day onward, Biko began to reclaim his life. He poured his energy back into his fields, growing even richer crops than before. He shared his harvest with the villagers, offering help to those in need. Slowly but surely, his heart began to heal. Years passed, and Biko had almost forgotten about Kumi. He was content once more, surrounded by friends and the beauty of the land he loved so dearly. One fateful evening, as he returned from the fields, Biko heard a rustling in the bushes nearby. Out stepped a woman who looked haggard and weary. Her once beautiful face was etched with lines of hardship and despair. It was Kumi. "Biko," she croaked, "I have returned. I left you because I was foolish and I thought I could find happiness elsewhere. But I was wrong. I am broken and alone. Please forgive me." Biko looked at her for a long time, and the memories of their marriage resurfaced. He felt the old pain tug at his heart, but he also remembered the wisdom of Mama Moyo. "Kumi," he said gently, "I forgive you. For holding on to anger only makes one bitter. But I cannot welcome you back into my home. My trust is not so easily repaired." Kumi bowed her head and wept. She had hoped for a different outcome, but she knew that Biko's words were fair. "Go in peace," Biko said softly, "and find a new path for yourself." Kumi walked away with a heavy heart, but Biko felt lighter. He had chosen forgiveness, and he had chosen to love himself enough to move forward. In the years that followed, Biko continued to live a life of kindness and generosity. The villagers celebrated his spirit, and many stories were told of his resilience and unwavering faith in the goodness of life. Though his heart had once been broken, it had healed stronger than ever before, and so the story of the heartless wife and the kind farmer became a lesson shared among the villagers of Kijiji Cha Amani, teaching that sometimes true strength lies in forgiveness and the courage to carry on.